This is lesson 3 for tools and technology. We're going to be looking at how to make a Chord Pro chord chart today. Excuse me. So here I have a song, Precious Jesus, by Zach Neese, Anna Bird, and Kyle Lee. It has the original or older hymn or anthem, Jesus, Jesus, How I Love Thee, as a bridge. Beautiful song. As you can see, got the metadata already kind of set up here. I chose this song. We're going to be looking at specifically the chorus of this song for how we make Chord Pro chord charts. It has some details in it that really help us think in the right direction with the Chord Pro. So with any arrangement, you can create a Chord Pro chord chart by clicking on lyrics and chords. Going to pull up a window, looks a lot like this, or will look exactly like this. Very top of the screen, we'll talk about a little bit. You can actually, once you create a chord chart, you can choose for it to PCO to render it as a numeral, Roman numerals, or a numbers chart. But the main thing we're going to look at over here is starting from the right. That's a download button. We don't need to download anything right now. Format. Click on Format. The very first thing you need to know about making your own chord charts in Planning Center is don't use Courier. No one likes it. Don't bother. I wish this wasn't. I wish you could change what this default was. I don't. Maybe you can now. Maybe eventually you will be able to. Right now you can't. Change it to Arial Helvetica because not even that matches with Courier. So the top default's already to something else. Let's change it to all match and look nice and clean and sans serif and Apple Apple computers like. So the other thing, that's all we really need to be worried about. There's some other cool formatting defaults you can do. You can make your chords a different color. You can make them green. So when you put in chord charts any way, they'll show up as green on your chart. If that floats your boat, go for it. In real life, in this class, let's just keep everything as black font. One column versus two. Let that re-render now, and you'll get here. It's not long enough, but if we space it out, you'll see what happens. It will start spilling over onto a second column. And there's a way to set at what point in the chord chart it breaks to a new column. We may look at that later. Okay, that's really font. That's all I want you guys to really be changing with formatting. You're good. Here's another place where you can access the sequence or the roadmap of the song. Right here with that button. Moving on over to the left. If you're having a slow internet connection or a slower computer, you may want to turn off auto refresh for the time being until you've done a lot of chord writing or chord coding, and then you can turn it on and see how it's all showing up all at once. Original key. This is going to be the viewed key. You can actually choose to write in one key over here and view it in another. I've tried that. All it does is make me confused. So, but whatever. Options. This is where you can add some custom. This actually is here the column break, so we could just do this right here. You hover over options, you get a few cool code options. Column break. Now, two separate columns. We're not really going to do that right now. Take that away. And it all goes back to normal. And then key. This is the key. This is not the original key of the song as it was recorded. It's not the first key that you performed the song in with your church. This is simply the key you're going to write the chart in. You could choose to write it in, say the song's actually in like E flat, but you want to write it in D because it's a little, just easier maybe for you, then you could do that. But then when you perform the song, you can still get a chart in E flat. Okay, a few other things we're going to change about formatting. Just like headers in your service plans, I want you to make all the headers of the section labels. We're going to make those all caps, and there's no need for this space between the title of the section and your lyrics. That'll automatically come back later as we work. Chorus 1, verse 2. You can delete this miscellaneous and take away the parentheses of the bridge, so I'll just retype it all. Oh, but don't do that. Leave a space between a header and the previous section's lyrics. I don't think we need that repeat. That's a tag. I don't think we'll worry about that necessarily. Verse 3. Let's change that. Okay. If you haven't listened to Precious Jesus, you can go ahead and maybe hit pause here, go listen to it so you know what I'll be talking about. But something that happens in this song, and the recorded part of this song, is we get to the chorus. Precious is the word precious has an upbeat. And then the downbeat of the song is on Precious Jesus and hits on the G and the J of Jesus is the downbeat of the chorus. So we're going to make a chord chart that doesn't just tell you what words are being sung when chords change and leave you hanging out to dry for all the rest. We're going to do a rhythmically informed and harmonic rhythm informed chord chart. So we're going to add we're going to add all the bar lines to a section. We're going to let you see what chords are on the downbeats, what chords are in the middle of the bars, and even with this particular song, you'll see specifically when a chord is as a pickup beat before the next bar, as opposed to just being on the third beat of a bar. You'll see what we mean when we get there. So how are we going to do that? First of all, with Chord Pro, the way you add a chord to a chord chart, and it'll transpose no matter what key you go to, and no matter what key you go to, it'll stay over the same syllable of the song, is with brackets, which are right next to the letter P. They're the squared brackets, not the cursive-y looking ones, not the rounded parentheses. Anything in between square brackets will show up above the word that the brackets are in front of. That may sound confusing. Let me just do that and you'll see what happens. So I put bracket, line, I'll explain the line in a second, D, close bracket in front of Jesus, and a line and the letter D show up above the word Jesus. So now that's a D chord. The line is right next to on a Mac computer. It is shift. It's the key right next to your close bracket, and you just shift and press that button, and you get a vertical line. I use that as a bar line. Okay, that indicates for me this is the downbeat. Okay, and then there's not really a need to put a space in between them. It works just fine. The coding does. Precious Jesus, precious Jesus. Actually, downbeat is to a 4 chord, and then the next downbeat is on the 1. The beauty of the Savior's love. It goes to a 6 minor on beauty. And then here's the fun part of this song. The first part. So every time it comes to the last bar of this song, of each phrase of the chorus, the first time it's going to go to the 5 chord for 2 beats, and then it goes to the 3 minor for 2 beats. You can go listen to that if you want to know what I'm talking about. I may be able to play it here for you, just a sec. But here you go, that's the 1. Go to 6. 5, 3. Back to the 4 on Jesus. Precious Jesus. Going back, and this all kind of repeats. Your life, your love. Notice as you hear right there, I'll pour it out for us. It's going to go to the A, and it stays on the A for 3 beats And then as Anna sings the word precious on the fourth beat of the bar, it goes to a 1/3. I want to give some specificity to my band that is not just dependent upon waiting until the vocalist says the word precious. I want them to be able to count to where they know they will for sure be changing to that 1/3 chord. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use hyphens to indicate the second and third beats of the bar. So this is a cheat from studio writing, where if you would actually put these all in parentheses, you'd put the A, a couple of dashes, and then a D over F sharp, all in parentheses. We've got the bar lines instead of just using the parentheses, which was like a cheat version of bar lines. So we're good there. But up here, A to F sharp minor, and then the next chord that comes up is bar line G. If there's no parentheses, if there's no other indications or clues, it is assumed in musical writing and this kind of chord chart sheet simplified reading that if there's no other rhythmic indications, each chord shares an equal portion of the bar if there's no other markings to indicate otherwise. So A for 2 beats and F sharp minor for 2 beats, and then you come to the downbeat G next. So A for 2 beats, and then F sharp for 2 beats, and then G for 4 beats through the whole bar, and so on. But with this A, and then the D over F sharp that's to come, let me just write this in, back to the G for over Jesus. Now I want to I'm going to let my team know, just to be extra thorough, 1, 2, 3 beats of A to the D over F sharp. And you can hear that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? And then here, there's actually 2 bars of this 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Downbeat. Okay? So there, you could put in some hyphens to indicate how, there's actually 4 bars. What I'm just going to do, I'm just going to put in another bar line, and maybe, to me, it looks like it could just be the close of this measure. So either I would put a G there again, not my favorite preferred way, so then for me, I would actually probably rather just do this, where I'm putting in 4 beats represented by hyphens here, and since I'm doing that there, I may just go ahead and do it over here as well. 1, 2, 3, because remember, every chord counts as 1 beat to begin with. So now you see, precious Jesus, your life and love poured out for us. 2, 3, precious Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the crown my thorns compose. Okay, and now we're back into verse 2. Now you can hand anybody this chord chart, and as you start playing the song, they can read this chart along with you and know rhythmically exactly when to go to each chord. They can see that there is an extra bar of the 4 chord before we go to verse 2. Tons of helpful information with very little effort, all because of Chord Pro with the brackets. They're going to be in the same key. Let me just show you what that really looks like. So now we've got this written in the key of G, or in the key of D, my apologies. Ooh, one more thing we should add. Precious has a pickup note. D, without the bar line, it's on the 4th beat of the bar. Precious is a D over F sharp. Okay, now it's going to auto refresh. I want to see this as a number chart. Already getting smart for us. 1/3 to 4 to 1, 6 minor, 5 through minor. Let's say, oh, you know what? Let's make sure that B minor is a B minor 7. And 6 minor 7. Oh, okay, that one. Let's get even crazier. B minor 11. That's not actually what that chord is at all. It's even, especially in the number chart, it's creating this superscript for all of the extensions. Very helpful here. Well, let's just say this was a weird, like, over D sharp. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if that gives us the flat 2. Okay, sharp 1, flat 2, inharmonically spelled, but that worked. Or if this was A sharp, D over A sharp, that'd be what, sharp 5 or flat 6? So it tends to be defaulting to the flat rather than the sharp inharmonics, but we can make that work. Okay, so that's how you make a Chord Pro chart. You can do that with choruses, verses, intros. Like with this song, let's just listen to the intro real fast. Okay, so it's the same as the verse, but it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So here's another great example. Let me change this back to letters. The intro has 3/4 beats and 3/4 bars and 4/4 bars. Listen to that again as it picks up. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you know I'm gonna D. In that case, because of how it's meter changing, the easiest way to do that for me, in my opinion, is just give to do this kind of thing with every bar. This, where we got every beat represented as either a chord or a hyphen. I'm going to do that throughout this particular whole intro because of the meter change. Let me grab a guitar. Hopefully it's in tune, and let's just make sure I'm getting these chords right for you. Close enough. Here we go. Hopefully not too torturous. Guess what I thought? Okay. All right. Goes to the 6, the B minor, the 6 for 4 bars. And then it goes to the 4, the G, for 2 beats. The 6 minor was for 4 beats, not 4 bars. The G, back to that D. Actually, I think here's a D over F sharp. To an A. Okay. Some people may feel like this should be there's an argument over whether these are F sharp minors or if they're D major 7 over F sharp, which a D major 7 would have that C sharp in it, which makes the 5 of this F sharp minor. Really kind of confusing. Flip a coin. Don't get too hung up on it all. So this is the way I choose to interpret the chords and play them. It works well for us. But so hyphens, helpful even for mixed meter, helps kind of point out what we're really doing, what direction we're going in, and indicates, because there's only one dash here, one hyphen, it means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just take a moment. This D over F sharp is why chords like that, inversion chords, is why I use these vertical lines for bar lines instead of it's why I use these hyphens for quarter note markings instead of slashes. A lot of people use slash notation, which is common in actual staff music for rhythm charts. Those, though, if you put chords in between slashes for beats, like if we did that real fast. Can you tell which slashes immediately and very easily? Can you tell which slashes are beats and which are inversions right through here? Because I can't. If you can, you're better than me. So That's why we use hyphens. All right, and that's it. Use this. I hope this content helps you be able to build very easy, clean looking, and informative chord charts for your teams.